have not been dealt with. So, Fair Relax is the same vetting process. But before we begin, the Honorable Minority Chief Whip will make a comment, a brief comment.
Thank you very much, Acting Chairman. Chairman, as we agreed, the comment I'm starting with has nothing to do with the nominee. It has to do with Friday. We were well informed in the chamber by Mr. Speaker that Friday Parliament was not going to sit, and all of us should do well to be in our constituency to assist. And so later when we heard this committee wanted to sit on Friday, the minority side, I was mandated to speak to the chair, which I did, and we were hopeful that in the spirit of working together, that was going to be respected. The Speaker's directive was going to be respected. But unfortunately, whilst we were all scattered across our constituencies, we saw that on Friday, the vetting went on without us. We thought that this was unfortunate. It doesn't really help in consensus building and the way we've tried to work together all this while. We hope that steps will be taken to try to mend the bridge so that we do not have these sharp disagreements within the committee, because we have to work in the best interest of the House and our country. So that's the opening remarks that I'll say. And with regards to our colleague Honorable Mbomba, sorry you have to come back. I mean, you are a colleague from Tatale, and looking at the Constitution, all we try to do is to see whether people qualify to be members of Parliament. So ordinarily, I've held a very strong view that MPs who are nominated, ministers and deputies, should not be vetted. But others have different disagreement. So it is not to embarrass you, but we have some few questions that we want to ask, and I'm sure we'll all be fine, and then you can go. So sorry, we have to bring you back. So Chairman, I'll leave it for you to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable. I think on this comment on the Friday, I was not here, and hence I'm unable to respond. I'm sure when the chairman himself assumes his seat, he will respond accordingly. The Honorable Bomba, we have your CV. If there are some other comments you want to make, apart from the CV official document you've submitted, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have comment on the CV. I don't have any comment to make on the CV.
Thank you. The Honorable Ayaga, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman. And let me join colleagues to congratulate you, Thomas Mbomba, Honorable, your nomination to serve as Deputy Foreign Minister of the Republic of Ghana. I've looked at your CV, and I just want to find out from you what in your background, in terms of your training, your experience, makes you think that you will serve as a good, impressive ambassador of the Republic of Ghana around the globe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you look at my CV, I've worked at so many places, whole leadership positions. I've also had opportunity to travel, to interact with other nations in terms of certain agreement when I was at post office. And I had opportunity to also be a DC, and the work of a DC is so involving. And because my constituency was also closer to the borders, I had the opportunity to interact with my Togolese counterpart or the DC. So I think that with that one, this few one, I can be able to position myself for the position if I am given the nod.
His Excellency, the President is currently the chairman of the Authority of Heads of State of ECOWAS. Last week, he convened a meeting of an extraordinary session of the Authority of Heads of State to deal with the crisis in Mali. Have you been following the developments in Mali, given that your minister is the chair of the Council of Ministers of ECOWAS? If you have been following the developments in Mali, can you give us a brief update?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honestly, I had information on the TV and also saw in papers that the democratic government was toppled by the military. And ECOWAS has, led by our Excellency, the President, is leading a delegation to be able to resolve the issues in Mali. And so I think that is what I can say on the issue. I don't follow it closely. I did not get opportunity to follow the issue closely. But I know for sure that there's a problem in Mali. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Shall we, Honorable Soini, you're not ready yet. Are you, any member ready with his or a line of question? Honorable Zero.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning and congratulations, Honorable Nominee.
Thank you.
Yeah, your CV, 2003 to 2006, Commonwealth Hall, Chief Vandal Bodyguard. Can you please, bodyguard? So I want to find out whether he's a member of the vigilante or is it the invisible forces or which one. Please, can you tell us what that is?
Oh, those days when you go to Commonwealth Hall, we will be screened. And if your body topography is in such a way that you are well built, you will be automatically become the chief vandal's bodyguard. So when I went for the JCR, when we were going to be allocated rooms, immediately they gave me a room. Unfortunately for me, my room was also closer to the chief vandal's place. So they just escorted me into the chief vandal's room, and I was given some training for about 3 days training, and became the bodyguard. Basically because I was strong. And I could protect V-mates. But honestly, until these issues started coming, vigilantes and all, I've never heard about it until it started coming. So I'm not part of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nominee. So, Nominee, my first question is, over the weekend, the first. Second, over the weekend, we saw reports, some visuals about some Ghanaian residents in Spain demonstrating, fix the country demonstrations in Spain. I hope you saw the reports too. What would you say in view of that regarding the stalemate that we have with our own here, where the youth of Ghana want to demonstrate but being denied the opportunity to demonstrate? What's your personal view on this development? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, unfortunately, because of Green Ghana, I went to the constituency. And my constituency is in such a way that apart from the district capital, the rest of the places, you will not have access to information of that nature. So honestly, I didn't see that one. I was also in the constituency when I heard that some people have formed a group and they are Face Ghana group. And they wanted to demonstrate. And I hope for the demonstration, it has a way they should go about it. And so, please, I don't know why and how they are doing it. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My final question. Sputnik V vaccine. I'm sure that one, the networks in the constituency covered, covered it because it's been trending. We are being told that the price is supposed to be $10, but Ghana is buying it at $19 per vaccine. And I think it's mainly due to the fact that we are tending to use middlemen instead of using the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration to facilitate this deal. What is your view about it? Why do you think the ministry has been left out?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the purposes of the records, I have not gotten full detail about such information, and I want to plead that I will not want to mislead this honorable committee. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Suhini. Suhini, is your turn.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Nominee, congratulations to you. First of all, I've seen various spellings of your names. The transmittal from the presidency has Thomas Mbomba. Your CV also is Thomas Mbomba, but I've seen Thomas Mbamba from the appointments committee, and sometimes Mbangba. Mbangba is a Dagbani name I know, which means I've gotten to know them. Yours, what is, first of all, the correct spelling and pronunciation? And what does it mean? Mbomba or Mbamba or Mbangba?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The correct spelling is Mbomba, it's O. But the day I was going to pick my letter from the appointment committee office, I saw it and corrected it. It is O, Mbomba. And the meaning is that in our language, if you give birth to only one child, and the child is so industrious that people cannot, he can do things that people cannot imagine. And that is the name they give to that person. So my grandfather gave birth to only my father. And my father could do any other thing. You know, those days he can weed, he can dance, he was so versatile. So my grandfather gave that name to yes, multi-talented. Thank you.
But at birth, how do you determine such qualities at birth?
You know, immediately they give birth to you. Those days, they have their own way of going through these rituals and all those things to be able to determine that this person is a great person. So they gave him that name. And true, he also grew up and was just matching the name. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. So I think the Appointments Committee will take note of the proper or appropriate spelling of the name. You were DC for Tatali Sanguli for some time before contesting to win the seat to represent the constituency in Parliament. Because we are all coming from the Green Ghana campaign, where we join constituents to plant trees, I'd like to pick your thoughts based on your experience as DC on illegal logging, because I know that the Tatali Sanguli area, as a member of the Lands and Forestry Committee, has become one of the targeted areas of people who engage in illegal logging. What was your experience and how did you deal with it when you were DCE?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I confirm with the fact that totally the rate at which people log illegally totally was so alarming that to the extent we have to write to the presidency, we feel that the police force were not able to deal with the situation. So they were able to open a military base in Tatale, and they combined with the police force. And now it's better than before. But the point was that, you know, because we are just closer, Tatale and Togo is less than 1 kilometer. And Togo, their vegetative cover is better than our side. So people sneak into Togo to bring in the timber. So if care is not taken, you would think it's Tatale. But it was most of the logging was from Togo. But the point was that once you are going through our land, there's nothing, no indication that you logged from Togo. So by this time, the security is so tight that they cannot bring. We have also collaborated very well with the Togolese counterpart, and it has reduced tremendously. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So with this experience or knowledge and the revelation on a public platform such as this, how will you use your appointment as Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister if the committee approves you to ensure that the situation you know exists does not lead to some diplomatic row between Ghana and Togo?
Honestly, the Togolese counterparts, they even were worried about the situation. So they brought the engagement up. And they feel that it is good we collaborate to be able to deal with the situation. So they were ready to support us. You know, if you look at the border, the Togo side seemed to look stronger in terms of personnel, in terms of everything, in terms of network. So they were ready to support. It was not like we were forcing them to cooperate with us. So, Mr. Chairman, I don't think it could harm our diplomatic relationship with Togo. Thank you.
My final question. For a very long time, after you were appointed DCE, you did not live in the Tatale-Sanguli district, perhaps because of lack of accommodation for the district chief executive. Your people were not very happy with that. After serving for some time, have you ensured that the place now has a befitting accommodation for the DCE? And why couldn't you find accommodation, a temporary accommodation, at least within the time that you were appointed to work from the district?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, my village, and Tatale being the district capital, is less than 1 kilometer. And because it was a new district, there was no DC accommodation. My predecessor rented. And for the 5 years he was a DC, they never paid rent. So when I went, the landlord deceived me to pay rent so that I can occupy the place. So we wrote to the ministry, they supported us, we paid for the rent, and they refused giving up the place to us. So I told myself that somebody suffer for the other person to gain. For this money we have paid, if I knew, we would have started raising our own structure. So it's good that I rather live in my village that is so close to Tatale, then we raise money and be able to put up a DC bungalow. And we were able to do that exactly. And we commissioned a bungalow 6 months to the election. So now the issue of DC bungalow, DC residents in Tatale, and the coordinating director's residence, we were able to put it into shape. We built new ones, and it is now functioning well. I hope that my predecessor will comfortably enjoy the place. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. The Honorable Minority Leader would have his turn.
Chairman, let me thank you and our colleagues, and we are considering Deputy Foreign Affairs nominee Thomas Mbomba. Tatale Sanguli. What's the state of the road?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. From Yendi to Tatale, the road is not good. It's not tar.
What would you do about it now that you've been elected MP?
Fortunately, Mr. Chairman, when I was a DC, we took the matter up, and it has been given to World Bank. It's a World Bank project starting from Tamale to Tatale border. And the World Bank, they go through a lot of formalities to be able to commence work. They did the need assessment, so many things. As last week, I was in their office, and they promised me that by the close of July, they will hit the ground.
We are following up on the road being fixed. Tatale Township, what's the state of the roads there? Just the township roads, when you enter.
Within the township, the roads are also not good.
Is it only from Yendi you can travel to Tatale?
Come again, Mr. Chairman.
Is it only from Yendi that you can get to Tatale? Or
Yes.
I can use the Honorable Tampulis Gushegu corner and find my way to Tatale? Is there another road?
No, Mr. Chairman. For you, if you want to use that lane, you have to go to Togo, then come back to Tatale.
Yes,
And
so
that one you
doesn't
can-
that throw a challenge to you that you need to open up and link it to Gushegu? Is it not possible?
Mr. Chairman, it will be very difficult because the River T is so big at that area to the extent.
Is that what is popularly called the Sabari Dam?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that is.
You have
River
any
T.
plans for irrigation development for Sabari?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sabare now, because we divided the constituency, is now in Zabzugu district.
Okay, but all the same, to support all year-round agriculture, when your friend, the Honorable Anodon Prenko, are shouting one village, one down, you should be singing one Sabare, one irrigation. Is that not right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honestly, when we embark on this planting for food and jobs, that was where we nest our seedlings.
I'm not interested in seedling, Chairman. I want to know your commitment. It is a major irrigation site for the country. I've repeatedly said that what sugarcane wants is water, sunshine, and land. You have it in abundance in that area. So when others are advocating 1D, 1F, you should ask the President to focus on the irrigation development of Sabari so that it can feed that particular area year-round farming. Do we have your assurance? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have my assurance. I'm committed to seeing through that. We have a very big irrigation dam around the River T.
Go through your CV. Show me where your committees in Parliament are.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Youth and sports and
No,
culture.
I say in your CV, not from your head, from your CV.
Honestly, I didn't indicate them.
So which
on
one
the
is
CV.
which one is dishonestly? If you didn't provide it, is that dishonestly?
I will provide it later, Mr. Chairman.
But your CV is to profile you, so we should know as a committee that these are the committees of Parliament you work on. You are a student of sociology, is that right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Do you still remember your Durkheimian theory?
Mr. Chairman,
That came on religion, you still do?
I can only remember that Duncan said religion is the opium of the society.
Great.
That is the only
So
thing.
there is still sociology in you. Are you not drifting towards more of Karl Marx thinking on religion than Durkheim? Is that not the case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Opium of the masses should be resonating those who believe in socialist school of thought. So, Chairman, you know that the nominee has not provided details of the committees of parliament he is serving on. And foreign affairs, after government is praising itself after. For the record, this was President Mills at the time at the African Union who felt very strongly is given meaning under President Nana Akufo-Addo. Thanks to him and thanks to those who visioned it those days. I recall at the time, now Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Chimantin, was working for the African Union in some capacity as advisor. What's your thought? Ghana, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, what can we do at a bilateral level to improve trade? Thank you, Chair.
And if I'm given the nod, I will be able to acquaint myself so well with these countries you've mentioned. But as it is now, I want to plead that I will not want to go to an area that I'm not well versed to be deceiving the committee.
You won't say that you go and assist your minister. You are talking like you'll be the number one.
I will assist my minister, an astute diplomat. And I believe that
she has since become an astute diplomat. How many years? It takes just 4 years to be astute. Is that right?
He was a deputy minister for foreign affairs during President Kufuor's time.
Chairman, I end here, but this one I must say that it's local. My uncle is a chief of Nakwale Warbao. As you are aware, he's in Tamale this morning. The road is very bad. Nakwale Bole through Kanden, Shene Sagban roads. What will you do about it?
Fortunately, Chairman, the road has been given to a contractor because of the iron ore deposit in Sheni. In February, I went there with the contractor and we assessed the area. So the COVID came in strongly. And
Chairman, my last is the community center. What happened to it? The community center in the village that you are. What happened to it?
Tatale Community Center.
Yes.
When I took office as a DC, I saw
Is
that
it true that work have stalled on it?
Yes.
And is it attributed to you?
No, Mr. Chairman.
You are sure about it?
Yes.
Even as you give this evidence on oath?
Thank you. I had wanted to.
The Honorable Minority Chief Whip will conclude. He will be concluding the question.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Section.
Honorable Mbomba, looking at your CV, I've seen that you spend a lot of time at Ghana Post, right? You spend a lot of time at Ghana Post.
It's true, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I
spent a lot of time at Ghana Post.
I just noticed a gap between 2015 and 17. What were you doing? Had you resigned from Ghana Post?
At 2015, because I was going to contest elections in Tatale, I took a long leave, spanning from 2015 to 2017. I went in 2015, won the primary as a candidate for the party and lost in 2017. 2016, I lost the elections. So
and
that
then
brought
you
about the gap.
subsequently became the DCA. But was it possible at Ghana Post to take such a long leave? Were you on salary?
Yes, because with Ghana Post, you can accumulate your leave. I was working for about 15 years without going for leave because of where I was. So at that time, because I was going to contest election, I have to push for all the leave accumulated. And that was how I was able to do the work and contest it.
I thought that the new Labor Act is designed so that if you are on leave for this particular year and you don't take it, you forfeit it. So how come the Ghana Post will still allow people to accumulate all their leave over 15 years when the new Labor Act says if you don't take it, you lose it?
Fortunately, when we were at Ghana Post, those measures were not in place. But I think now that is what they do. When you accumulate your leave for over 2 years, they scrap it off. Either they pay you, you didn't go, you will not go for a leave, or they scrap it off. But during our time, it wasn't like that, Mr. Chairman.
I noticed that you worked with Ghana Post right from, naturally, right from school, from 2019 all the way to 1999, all the way to 2015. If you are asked to summarize what you think the challenges are at Ghana Post and the prospects, and what is really preventing Ghana Post from achieving its prospects, what will you say in a very good summary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The problem of Ghana Post is just the information technology.
I didn't hear that.
Information technology.
Okay.
That has affected the work so much. So for Ghana Post to strive, unless they go into serious IT. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I said I asked for summary, but it looks like you've over-summarized. Yeah. Yes, you mentioned one major challenge, which is IT. So maybe people are doing WhatsApp, people are sending messages across email. But I can tell you, even in this era, when you go to either America or Europe, it is now that even the equivalent of Ghana Post are doing real business. So it is not just the IT, what you do. So what apart from the IT, what other challenges do you think Ghana Post is facing that is not really helping it to achieve its objective?
Mr. Chairman, throughout my years over there, all the challenges that we're facing, because if you look at Ghana Post strategically, we are in good position. Wherever you go and you see Ghana Post office, it is located at a strategic place. But basically, because our work was just sending off mails, receiving mails, and dispatching them, if people decide not to do that because of IT, it will definitely affect the work. So for me, when I was at Ghana Post, everything boiled back to IT. When we started this money transfer, before other banks adopted it, because we could not be able to utilize the IT effectively, people came in and took it, and ours collapsed. So the IT is driving the post.
So are you suggesting that Ghana Post is still operating in the yesterday, where you've not computerized your system, everything that you do is still manual, and even despite technological advancement, you are still operating using the old model? Is that what you are suggesting?
No, there had been few, but it's not on the high level. Looking at some of the post offices, you go there, you cannot even make a call. So that tells you that they still lack in that area. Though when you go to places like head office and some of the places like Kumasi, they have IT there, but it's not enough to be able to boost the company.
What really led to your instant money collapse? Because I remember very well when in this house, it was one of the main source of wiring money to people around the country. What really caused the collapse of your instant money transfer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We started on a manual way, and at a point when customers were increasing, it became difficult to be able to deal with it manually. And we struggled to bring in ICT. We were still not able to connect it to certain areas like the remote areas. So people found it difficult sometimes. It came to some time, they would transfer money to you. just to get access and be able to complete forms manually to access your money was difficult. And on customer relations, I didn't think that was good. So people saw the advantage and came in, and especially at the NTN, and theirs was so fast. So people just ran away from us entirely.
I knew that yours collapsed long before even MTN started. But anyway, do you do deliveries? Like, apart from letters and others, do you do other deliveries?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do other deliveries. They take contract from companies. You can deliver physical items like furniture and other things to maybe regions or even outside, especially our expatriates when they are here and they are going back to their own country. Some of them, what they've acquired in Ghana here, we do sell them to where they are going. So the delivery is not basically on the letters, but the other aspect is very low.
Why are you not popularizing it and maybe trying to get private sector involvement? Because very few people will even know that Ghana Post is doing the delivery.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At that level, if you look at my CV, at that level, some of us were still junior staff in the organization, and we're not part of management decision to be able to put your views across. So, and I also now I've left the place. So it will be very difficult for me now to be able to speak to that issue effectively. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Chairman, one area that has been a major challenge for the Foreign Ministry is our young girls and young Ghanaians who, in seeking greener pastures, are lured into traveling to the Middle East. And then they get there, they find themselves in a very deplorable situation. Their passports are seized. They virtually become enslaved. And one of the major challenges the Foreign Ministry is usually encountered. I mean, I've had a number of times had to call the Minister of Foreign to intervene, one thing or the other, affecting the constituents or the other in these Middle East countries. You are going to assist the Minister. In your view, what do you think we can do to help deal with this challenge that is confronting us in the Middle East?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is a fact. What you alluded to is a fact. You see young girls all over. Even in my constituency, when I was a DC, at a point, I have to go to Nigeria to bring in some young girls that were locked up in Nigeria embassy from Tatale. So, but I believe that if I am given the nod, I will be able to assist my minister for us to deal with the issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You were earlier asked, I was waiting for the chairman himself to sit, and I'll ask you this question. You said that your room was not far from the chief vendor, and because of your structure, you were virtually picked to go and be the bodyguard. What does being a bodyguard to the chief vendor entails?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not different from the bodyguard work we know. As we are here, we have police. Some of us are police guard. So wherever the chief vendor will go, you follow him. If he's going to a lecture, you follow him, and you carry.
And what happens to your own lecture?
At a point, they will arrange with the lectures. So at a special time, then we take it one-on-one with the lectures. You will be carrying the gun. We have something like the olden day, yes. So
the symbol of authority of the chief vendor. Yes. And you'll be carrying it.
Yes, sir.
Everywhere he goes, you'll be following him.
Yes, sir.
When did this start? Because maybe our chief vendors were just group leaders. We didn't have to have bodyguards carrying things around them. Please tell your young people that is not the vandalism we started. How will change what? You stop your own lectures to go and follow somebody. What kind of vandalism is that?
Mr. Chairman, you hear the name, Vanda. You vandalize and then you say...
No vandalism.
So, but I hope it didn't affect your academic work.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
It didn't affect your academic work.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
How long do you do that bodyguard thing?
I was 1.5 years, Mr. Chairman.
It's more than the national service.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Let me just ask, did you really enjoy being the bodyguard of the Chief Vanda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. No. It was a...
But did you yourself aspire to be Chief Vanda because you've served as the bodyguard of the Chief Vanda? Did you aspire to?
I was not up to the spiritual status of having a Chief Vanda. My end was just a bodyguard. Yes.
So, how do you measure the level of spirituality?
You know, we have Father Bacchus, so they consult. When they go to consult Father Bacchus, they have a group of people who can also speak to Father Bacchus. So whatever they will come and tell you, that is what the gods have spoken. So you have to take it. So me, when they did the consultation on me, they said, because of my body topography, I was going to be a bodyguard, and that was all.
Our Father Marcus is now a god who can speak to people.
Chairman, in fact, things have really changed because you are telling us stories that we couldn't believe that during our time it could be happening. Chairman, I wish him well.
That's very interesting, Father Marcus. You know, wow. The Father Marcus I knew was the Greek god of merrymaking. So when we went there, we just went and sang and danced, and we poured ice water. And we poured ice water and danced, and that's it. I didn't know that now he can talk to. He can talk to him. Oh, that's very interesting. Anyway, I've just come in. I'm looking at your CV. I'm not sure I have any more questions for you. I wish you well. But you know, being the chief bodyguard or the bodyguard of Father Bacchus may require you to be macho. The ministry you're going to requires diplomacy, right? So shed the Father Bacchus bodyguard position and now put on the true vandal. It's a gentleman. Yes, the true vandal respects, particularly, our job was to protect the female species. Yes, the voter hall, who came to the strangers you find anywhere. Your duty was to guide the person to where he was going. People are now misinterpreting. When we were young, that was our role. You're the true gentleman. Singing and dancing is part of it. But your truth is I was a deputy choir master, yes. You know, was to protect the female species. Oh, not here. When we meet in the hall, I'll sing, I'll lead them. So please, the other side of the vandal city, the gentleman side, that is what you need to help you in your new role. Thank you. You are discharged now. You'll hear from us later.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Kindly administer the oath, please.
I, Abanga Abdullahi,
Do in the name of Almighty Allah
do in the name of Almighty Allah
swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee
swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
Mr. Abanga Abdullahi. Is this your first time before this committee?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
And you're the member of parliament for Binduri constituency.
Yes, sir, Mr.
right.
Chairman.
You're a first-time member of parliament, is that right?
Yes, Chairman.
Very well. Now tell us about yourself.
Mr. Chairman, as you have it on my CV, I was born in Akwitia on the 25th May 1970, but I hail from Binduri. I'm married, I have 3 children. I started my education in Akwitia, LA Primary, then continued in Bansi Primary School in Binduri. I went further to Boku Junior Secondary School, then to Ghana School in Tamale. I've become from the University of Cape Coast, Masters in Development Finance from the University of Ghana, and I'm a chartered accountant.
And you've been MC for Boku Municipal Assembly?
Yes, Chairman.
I see.
I was MC for Boku Municipal Assembly in 2008, just for a year, during the regime of President John Agyapong.
For a year?
Yes, exactly for a year.
I hope you did not withhold the honorable member's money. The MP for Boku Central. I hope you did not hold his common fund.
No, Mr. Chairman. Honorable is my childhood friend and brother, so we've been together for a very long time.
Very well. Now tell us about your work with the Millennium Challenge account.
Mr. Chairman,
How did you leverage on that to support agric in your community?
Mr. Chairman, I was employed as the management accountant for MIDA, which was being funded by the Millennium Challenge account of the USA. That was the first compact that Ghana received, $500 million. And as we're the pioneers of that institution, we got that institution set up and running. But unfortunately, I only worked with them for 1 year. Then the president, John Agyapong, appointed me as the MC for Boku. So I had to leave. But after 2009, when we lost the election in the 2008 general elections, I worked with an American consulting firm that managed the agri-credit component of that compact. And that is where I was able to bring my skills in finance to bear, and were able to assist several farmers to access credit.
So tell us, you targeted 10,000 farmers for credit support. How many were you able to cover?
By the time that the program ended, we had close to 8,000 or more who had received credit. And apart from that, we were able to build the capacity of the rural banks to be able to manage agri credit.
So how much have you been able to recover, or were you able to recover?
We had a recovery rate of more than 60% at the time that we exited the program. And the program was finally handed over to the Bank of Ghana to continue because the project had terminated.
Very well. Honourable members, your nominee. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations, honorable nominee.
Thank you.
A research published by ResearchGate.net has stated, and the title is Major Factors Causing Housing Deficit, has named lack of continuity of housing projects due to change of government. How are you going to help your minister in this direction to ensure that we close the deficit gap of our housing in Ghana?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, after this appointment, I've done some readings, gotten briefing from the ministry, and it is true that one of the factors that is causing the huge gap in the housing deficit is because governments do not continue with previous government projects. For example, in 2005, the MPP government started with an affordable housing project. After that, 2009, when the MPP government lost power, the new government did not continue with it, and it is said that it is one of the contributing factors. There are other factors such as the migration from rural to urban centers. When I'm giving the note, I think that this phenomenon is contrary to our laws, especially the principle of directive principle of state government, that policy, that any government that takes over should continue with the other programs of the previous government. And I think that it is important that we really try to complete projects that will have the benefit for our citizens. And I'm going to support my minister to make sure that if there are uncompleted projects around the country, we will do well to find the necessary resources so we can complete it for the benefit of Ghanaians.
Your mic, please. Thank you. The Department of Rural Housing is mandated to input into policy and develop projects and programs to increase access to safe, decent, and affordable housing in rural and peri-urban areas, whilst facilitating the use of improved indigenous materials. How are you going to assist your minister to achieve this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As an MP representing a rural constituency, the Department of Rural Housing, in fact, is an interesting agency under the ministry that I will be supporting my minister to do whatever that we can to support them so they can play their role and support our rural folks to be able to have decent housing. I had a discussion with some of them, and you can see there are a lot of innovative building materials that if we're able to support them, our rural folks could also get good housing for the use of for their youth. That will be decent enough. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And my last question will be on state housing. How are you going to help state housing to achieve its mandate? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. State housing is playing a very critical role in the housing sector, and I'll definitely be supporting my minister to see how we can secure funding and other support for them to be able to deliver on their mandate. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I wish you all the best. That will be all for him.
Thank you.
Yes. Any more questions? So, I should come to leadership. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No. What do you bring to the table to complement your minister? What is it about you that will complement your minister effectively?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you can see on my CV, I'm a trained finance person, and one of the difficulties of the housing sector is about finance, because you need a lot of money to be able to put up enough housing for our people. So I think that that will be the critical role that I'll be expected to play. But I think I am somebody who really want to achieve results, and I'll be giving my minister the maximum support so that we can do the very best to deliver on the mandate of our president, akufo-addo. Thank you.
Thank you. In your CV, you had worked with Aspect International and had some, that was a company that was contracted by GOG for the construction of drinking water projects. Tell us about that. And what were the challenges and your successes?
And supported them with the country intelligence, the legal regime. So at the end of the day, the project is almost about starting. And that's about 30 million euro water project that will be one of the newest type of water treatment plant that will be constructed in Wenchi. So I think in a whole, the project has been successful, and I'm happy about that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, what is your view on licensing of contractors? For now, contractors are just given certificates from the Ministry of Works and Housing, Class D, Class so and so, according to the values of works that they will do. What is your view on such a regime? And what do you think would be a best practice to adopt going forward over the next 3.5 years?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am aware that usually contractors are graded, they are registered and graded. And so I think it's a good thing to have contractors being regulated. But beyond that, I don't know what else that is required. And I will have to consult to be able to understand if there's something extra that is required. But I've been briefed and told that there's a building code that is yet to be promulgated. So I don't know whether that is related to licensing of contractors. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, no further questions.
Yes, Honorable Gaga.
Honorable Abanga, congratulations.
Thank you.
If you're giving the nod, I'd just like to find out from you, what would you want to be remembered for? I mean, you're going to a sector which has not done much in your own home region. Take, for instance, the entire region. You find that the only state housing schemes that was ruled out some time ago was under Colonel Agyapong. So we have the low-cost houses. Some can be found in your own backyard, Boko. And then in the 90s, we had the SNIT affordable housing scheme. You can find some of those houses located in Bolga. Now that you are heading to the Ministry for Works and Housing, just tell us, what would you want to be remembered for as Deputy Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a Deputy Minister, you know, the mandate is for the Minister. So in practical terms, I will be supporting my Minister to achieve the dreams of the President, to making sure that there is enough decent housing for Ghanaians, and issues concerning sea defense is taken care of. The flooding situation in the country is taken care of. And I'll be giving the Minister the maximum support so that at the end of the day, when he is successful, then I can share the credit. So that is what I think I will be doing for now. Thank you.
Honorable Abaga, and this one is quite controversial. Sagleme has been topical for quite some time, and not too long ago, the ACP presidential candidate in the 2020 elections actually went to Sagleme and took videos of the abandoned structures. I'm talking about Dr. Hassan Ayaraga. Now, if you're giving the nod, Honorable Abanga, how do you intend to assist the Honorable Minister for Works and Housing deal with the Sagleme issue?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Sagleme issue, just like the earlier affordable houses that were abandoned, are all projects that my minister indicated when he met this committee that the government was working to get them completed so Ghanaians can benefit from those assets. And I'll be giving him the maximum support so we can get this objective achieved. That's what I'll be doing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My last question. You happen to be the only Deputy Minister, if you're giving the nod, who hails from the Upper East region. Aside that, you don't even have anybody you can point at and say, this person is a Minister of State coming from your region, so you're going to be a lone ranger. Honorable Abanga, how do you feel about that? Do you feel isolated?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, when it comes to the parliamentary caucuses, yes, I feel lonely, but as a minister, I think we have several deputy ministers around. I have my friends and brothers who are equally ministers and deputy ministers, and we'll be working together to see what we can do to bring support to the Upper East as well. So I really don't feel lonely, but I'm hoping that the next election, Upper East can give more seats to the MPP so that I can have several seats as a caucus. Because for now, I am a one-man majority caucus. Thank you, Mr.
I'll help you target his seat. Very well. Yes, Honorable Dwyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning and congratulations, my brother and in-law.
Thank you.
Chairman, yeah, the nominee is my in-law. He's married to my sister. Again, there is a Cape Coast University caucus. So, Mr. Chairman, mine is to encourage him, urge him to do more. As I said the other day, we did a lot in Cape Coast University together, and I know he has the capabilities to deliver on his role. Congratulations, my brother.
Thank you.
Honorable Patricia Peje.
Thank you, Honorable. Congratulations. We are so
Thank you.
glad that you are going to be the Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, if I get it right. You agree with me. I don't know if you know Kumasi very well, that we have a number of river streams running across the city. Now it's not even just one city. It has been divided into various municipalities and cities. And as a result, currently we are experiencing a lot of flooding. Given the north, can you assure this House that you're going to assist your minister to try and address this drainage problems that we have within the city to ensure that we have the least flooding in the city? Thank you.
You, Mr. Chairman. Exactly that. As you are aware, my minister is actually an MP from the Kumasi area. And I've been briefed and I've seen a lot of documentations that shows that there's a national flooding program, and a lot of work is being done to desilt drainage and construct new drainage system across the country. And of course, Kumasi being one of the most populated cities in our country, Kumasi will definitely be getting a lot of it. So I'm sure by the time these projects are completed, the situation on flooding would have been solved. But we need to even remember that for the past 4 years or so, the issue of flooding has reduced, and there's a lot of investment has gone into the work on these things, and that's why we don't have the incidence of flooding as we used to have before. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I think maybe I have to create the awareness that the number of flooding that is happening now in Kumasi is in my constituency. And I thank you for the assurance that I'll be seeing my constituency is Asukwa constituency, and we'll be seeing more of you and more work being done to avert this problem. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Yes, Honorable. All right. So, leadership. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Abanga Abdullah has already blown my cover. He's already broadcast to the rest of the world that I've been a brother and a childhood friend. We went to school together and all that. So all I can do is to wish you well. And hope that at the Ministry of Works and Housing, you will remember that you were MC for Boku Municipality. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you.
Very well. I have no more questions for you. We thank you for attending upon the committee to answer questions. You're discharged for now. You'll hear from us later.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm grateful.
Alaji Mahama Asay Seni.
Do in the name of Almighty Allah.
Do in the name of Almighty Allah.
Swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee.
Swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee.
Touching the matter in issue.
Touching the matter in issue.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
Honorable Al-Hajj Mahama Asay Seni, on behalf of the committee, I congratulate you on your nomination as Deputy Minister for Health. You are a first-time Member of Parliament, is that right? Your mic is off, kindly switch it on and... I asked whether you're a first Member of Parliament.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Yes. Before then, you had worked at Ghana Revenue Authority since 2004.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Not before 2004. You actually, all your working life, you've been with the Ghana Revenue Authority. I see from here since 1985. Junior Custom Officer Wa.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. So what more do we need to know? Kindly tell us more about you.
Yes, I am just a very simple, humble, disciplined, and personality, and a good mixture wherever I go. I also have passion for development to my nation in general and my constituency in particular.
That's what you tell us. Tell us about your schooling.
From the lowest, from LA Primary, Daboya, then I went to Presbyterian Middle School, Tamango Secondary School for my O level, Naval School, Naval Secondary School for my A level. Then from there, I joined Customs. I worked for a couple of years and I went to University of Science and Technology, where I graduated in BA Honors, Economics and Law.
Very well. Yes, you said you have passion for development. Tell us how you have used that, your passion, to assist your communities in your constituency.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Where I found myself working, I developed a lot of social network and I related to so many NGOs. And as a result, I went to my constituencies, studied the developmental needs of the constituency. And I got 3 areas: water, education, and health. So for water, so far I've been able to provide 40 boreholes in all the communities. I have about 60 communities and I'm able to give 40 boreholes. So the potable water, I've taken a lot of the communities away from sharing water with animals and other creatures that drink the water and share it with human beings. So that one, I've done that. And still with water, I've been able to give 6 communities who never had water for a long time. They have been drinking from dugouts and then dams.
hospitals. In respect of the 88, not one was built. How are we, the government, to do 111, especially that there is no budget line for the 111 hospitals? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Agenda 11 is a vision of the MPP government, just to augment deficit in health infrastructure. The program is still on course. So far, 75 of them have been awarded, waiting for the certificate for them to commence. The others are in the preparatory line. And if you approve my nominee, you approve me, I will discuss with my minister. We'll find out how and when this things can commence. But I know before the end of this 2021, something will be done. Thank you.
Yes, and I was there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning and congratulations to my colleague and caucus senior. I have one question for you, and it borders on a recent report from the Super Morning Show on the multimedia platform. Corruption Watch, in conjunction with multimedia, did a report on how pregnant women are made to pay for antenatal and postnatal fees. Although we know that in 2008, pregnant women were allowed free Medicare. Why is this going on, and what will you do when you get the nod, together with your minister, to ensure that these illegalities are stopped? Thank you.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. This particular issue, to be frank with you, I can't speak to it because I'm yet to be there and I'm not privy to something. What I know is that National Health Insurance covers all those things. So this other cost is alien to me. So if you approve me, I'll meet my minister. We will discuss it further. Thank you.
So now I'll ask your personal opinion. To your knowledge, National Health Insurance covers that cost. But there's a report that some public health officials or health officials are charging pregnant women a cost which should be borne by health insurance. What do you think we should do in that circumstance?
In these circumstances, Mr. Chairman, I will suggest to my minister that he should commence investigation into this and come out and so that they come out with the truth. Then we don't take that. We take remedial actions from other points. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Honorable Zora, you may continue. You're done. Yes, Honorable Patricia PJ.
Right, thank you very much. Congratulations, Honorable. I'm very much delighted to hear that you have a passion for development. And I must commend you for that passion. And looking at the sector ministry in which you will be working, I think one of the issues that we have faced in the past period is how to sustain the National Health Insurance Scheme. Currently, the government is doing it best, and the government has pursued a number of strategies to ensure that the National Health Insurance works. Will you assure us in this House that you're going to do your best to ensure that there are policies that will ensure the sustainability of this scheme? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the National Health Insurance Policy scheme is a zeros and very important and integral part in the health delivery service in this country. The government, as well as my ministry, will do everything to sustain it.
So if you give him the note, I would suggest to the minister, coming from the tax background, I know how much is going into the National Health Service, National Health Service coffers, because it's isolated on the customs program. The only difficulty that I feel, and I want to bring it to the House, is that it's a regular and timeous flow of the funds from the Ministry of Finance into the scheme. So if I give him the nod, I will assist my minister, and we see how best we can use with the Ministry of Finance, and be able to, so that transfers into the scheme coffers will be faster. I also want to look at the premium, which is a difficult situation anyway, because that is the only source that is coming from the larger public. I would suggest to my minister that he should put all the stakeholders together to look at it and see how we can increase the premium, because it has been static for a long time. Meanwhile, the scheme should be, actually, we should keep it and keep it and keep it forever. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Gisela.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, congratulations. You are like a father figure in the House, even though politically we are not aligned. Anyway. Tell us, you mentioned that 75 of the Agenda 111 hospitals have been awarded. Tell us how those were done. What method of procurement was used?
Mr. Chairman, I'm afraid I beg to differ. I can't speak to it because I'm just still a new personality, and I only know they will go to my office, but I've not even opened my office yet. So I think I'll have to consult my minister to come out with, and then we'll advise this House. Thank you.
Well, you mentioned 75, so that's why we are asking you questions on what you said. But, okay, let's move. So you give the House assurance that you bring that information.
I said, I'll consult my minister and bring this question to him so that we can come up with the current situation as far as Agenda 111 is concerned. Thank you.
About herbal medicines, you know that it's quite a vibrant business for some, but I'm not aware that herbal medicines are on the NHIA, unless there are some particular ones. But you know that in the rural areas, a lot of people do medicate themselves with that. And then when maybe sometimes it doesn't go well, then they now look at the orthodox one. What system do you think we can put in place to have a, at the end of the day, the human body is sensitive to a lot of things. And if the medication is not the best, it can affect the liver, kidney, all those other organs that are not difficult to replace. What do you think, what system would you suggest to your minister to put in place to have a monitoring effect kind of on the whole herbal treatment industry? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is a truism that herbal medicine is patronized in this country, and we need to integrate it into the mainstream. But the situation in which it is now, I may have to suggest to my minister that we have associations, the herbal medicine associations. You have to bring them together with all the necessary stakeholders and study the situation and see how these medications coming from herbal medicine can be referred. We tell the association to make sure that the members refer these drugs to the Center for Scientific and Plant Medicine and the FDA, Food and Drug Board, this Food and Drug Board Authority, to look at these concoctions that everybody is advertising, come out with the efficacies, prescribe those of them which can be integrated into the system. We do that whilst we understudy further to see how we can incorporate them into the mainstream of health service delivery. Thank you.
So, as you yourself have articulated, you appreciate the point that we are making with it. So, we hope that you take it as a personal mission to be able to sanitize that industry also, because I think you agree that it needs it. And the last thing is about wellness, health and wellness. Is it all about medication? Should it be that the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, should also actively promote getting us just generally being well? Because COVID has taught us, when the COVID pandemic was last year, was quite rife, a lot of treatment, they would say it's as I eat a lot of natural foods, and so on and so forth. Do you think that the ministry could have a much more active and well spread out campaign on that? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the ministry has a focus, and the focus is normally based on promotive health service, curative health service, preventive health service, and rehabilitative health service. I knew how to pick the first two, promoting and preventive health service. I think I would suggest to my minister, we should also come up with programs that will, in terms of nutrition, exercises, so that we can move away from medication and try to use natural ways of gaining, living well. Because exercises, dieting, and other words, they're all preventive and promotive services, which the ministry is bound also to take up. But now it appears our emphasis is on curative and rehabilitative. So I think we have to change perception. I will suggest to my minister. Thank you.
Well, yes, I don't members anymore, or I should come to leadership. Very well. Leadership, I have only one more. Ordinarily, the ranking member would have done this, but he's not here, so I'm filling in for him. On your CV, wait, I'll give you the space. I'm just drawing the attention to. Member of Parliament for Daboya, date 2020 to date. When were you sworn in as a Member of Parliament?
January 7th, 2021 or so.
So what is on your CV cannot be correct.
I'll correct it.
Very well. Okay. Now, available leader.
Honorable nominee, are you familiar with the situation of the government hospital that is being built in Wa? What's the status and how's it functioning? Any issues that you are aware of?
Mr. Chairman, I'm afraid I'm not aware of this. I know that there's something going on as a regional hospital. I don't have the details, Mr. Chairman.
Will you find out and see how you can accelerate progress of work on that, given its location and the needs of the people in that part of the country?
Mr. Chairman, if this house gives me the nod, I should that be the first thing I'll do, because my wife comes from Wa.
So you're more concerned about your wife than all the people of all your in-laws in Wa. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. I have no more questions for you. We thank you for attending upon the committee to answer questions. You're discharged for now. You hear from us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I, Mohammed Hadi Tuferu,
do in the name of Almighty Allah swear
do in the name of Almighty Allah swear
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
shall
be the truth,
the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing but the
and
truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
Honorable Mohammed Hadi Tuferu, Al-Haji, Member of Parliament for Nantong. You're a second-term Member of Parliament.
Yes, Sir Chairman.
Very well. Because of the mask, I wasn't sure whether it's you. Because they asked for the name, I'm still confused. But because it was, of the face mask, I couldn't make you out. You have served on the Public Accounts Committee, Local Governance Committee, okay. The African Parliamentary Union, you're only a delegate. You're not a member. If the Speaker decides who goes.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm guided.
Yes. Very well. All right. Now, tell us more about yourself. You are a second-term Member of Parliament, so unless there's any controversy or scandal, makes our work easier. But tell us a little more about yourself.
Thank you very much, Chairman. My name is Mohammed Hadi Tuferu, born to Alhaji Tuferu and Agyapong. I was born on the 16th of June, 1969. I am successfully married. I attended
underline that for further questioning. Successfully married.
Chairman, I withdraw the successful marriage. Chairman, I started with Arabic school, Nur Islam. I'm a product of Nur Islam Secondary School. Proceeded to Methodist Primary for my elementary education. And then SDA Junior Secondary School, where I did just 2 years. My third year, then I went to Ghana Secondary School, and I did 3 years O-level at the Ghana for my secondary education. Then I continued advanced level at the scale school, Ghana Secondary School in Tamale. After my A-levels, I did my national service and gained admission into the University of Cape Coast, where I pursued Bachelor of Commerce degree. After my A-levels, I came to Ghana School and I did my national service. That was in 2001. Then got appointment at the Tamale Polytechnic as an instructor. I taught there for 4 years, and I went for further education at the school, business school in Legon, where I did masters in business administration, accounting option. I returned to the Polytechnic, and then there was an internal advert for the head of audit position, and I applied, and I was appointed as the head of audit. And I worked from 2007 up to 2015 or 2016, where I went to Nantong to contest the seat. I was successful at the internal primaries and then the general election. So I was a member of the 7th Parliament, served on the Public Accounts Committee, and then Environment, Science, and Technology, and Innovation. I contested again in the 2020 election, and I retained the seat. And this 8th Parliament on the Local Government Committee, and then Public Accounts Committee as well. So, Chairman, basically, this is a brief profile of Mohammed Hadi Tuferu.
Very well. I see that you serve on the audit boards of Ghana Gas, You're a member of the governing board of Tamale Technical University and the Community Relations Committee of the Petroleum Commission Board. What are involved in the Community Relations Committee?
Thank you very much. The Petroleum Commission, they regulate upstream petroleum industry in Ghana. And then the oil blocks some are in the western region. And we have an annual engagement with the chiefs and people to explain the role of the commission and the support that the chiefs and people of the region should offer the commission to enable them regulate for us, for Ghana to get the best from the upstream industry.
So, your role as a community relations officer, I want to understand what you do as a community relations. What do you do with the communities, or what do you do for the communities?
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, the nature of the work of the nature of the industry is such that it's a very high risk area. So the community's basic economic activity is fishing. And then normally they fish deep in the sea where the fishing vessels are located. So there are regulations that guiding conduct as far as the activities of the fishermen are concerned. So the engagement of the committee is critical to let the people know the dangers involved in fishing within certain parameters.
So that is onshore?
Onshore.
All right. I thought we were dealing with everywhere that they sell petrol. I was going to ask how you communicate with Aswase, for example. But I now understand your role. Other members, your nominee. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Congratulations, Honorable Nominee. How are you going to assist your minister to use agribusiness to help solve the unemployed issue that we have with our young graduates? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, if I am given the nod, my background is in accounting and finance, and the commercial aspect of agriculture activities and its products is the agribusiness. That's where I have a competence. So I am going to assist the minister to promote agribusiness among the youth in terms of capacity building, for them to understand that agriculture can be taken as a career to improve on their livelihood. The agri sector is highly informal, and there's no high quality data in the sector. So my background in accounting and finance, I have dealt with a lot of data and information, which is very critical in modern ways of doing agriculture business. So I will assist the minister in skills development, communication management, and leadership, trying to help promote agriculture and instill the spirit in the youth so that they take up agriculture as career.
Great. It sounds great. I hope that you will actually walk the talk, and it
Thank
will
you.
not only be a vetting pledge.
Thank you very much.
There is a low
Chairman.
hanging fruit, and I can talk of Buno East. If you talk of Techima North only, we produce a lot of tomatoes. Our biggest challenge is irrigation. Again, there is subsidized fertilizers, planting for food. These fertilizers will come when farmers have already bought fertilizers from the market. Timing, very important in agriculture. How are you going to help in these directions if you are given the nod?
Thank you very much. Chairman, the potential for tomato to increase our foreign exchange and increase our activities as far as the agri sector is concerned is very high. So the challenge is the technology in the area of improved seas and water. So there's natural endowment of ponds and pools in the area you have mentioned. So my brief from the ministry is that more attention is going to be paid to irrigation, and you can see a lot of, it's a very costly project. The strategy is to tackle ponds and small-scale irrigation schemes for horticulture, of which tomato is a commodity under the model. So the ministry, I will give my full support to the ministry if I'm approved to help scale up production of tomato in Ghana in general. For the fertilizer, is really a challenge. It is not only the issue about the subsidy. You can do all the investment in fertilizer, make it available, affordable. But if it doesn't get to the farmers at the point that they will need it to apply, it's not going to help us. So I know the ministry is doing a lot. Procurement issues are always the hindering factors. And then if we do well, procure as early as possible and send it to the areas that is, make it accessible in the areas that it is most needed at the right time, it will help us achieve much under the projects.
I will actually save this recording, your vetting recording, for tomorrow, because you've given really good answers, and the people of Techman North will hold you to your words. This one is for your information. The previous deputy minister actually came to Techman North to help solve a situation where when tomato is in abundance in Techman North and that route, people still go to Burkina to buy tomatoes. It is still a challenge, but they did not come to a conclusion in respect of that matter. So I hope that you take it up, in addition to what you have said, which will be on record, and the video will be played in Techman North. I hope that you take this up and ensure that what you have said will actually materialize.
Thank you very much. I'm guided by the comments of the member.
Yes, Honorable Agyapong.
Congratulations, my brother.
Thank you, Chairman.
Chairman, I have one question, just to find out if you are aware of the proposed farmer registration program in the north, which is being coordinated between the Ministry of Finance and Agric.
Yes, Chairman, I'm aware.
How do you think it's going to help farmers in the north?
Thank you very much. Chairman, if you look at the nature of data that they are collecting, the strategy is to identify all potential farmers and those who are already actually practicing farming and the size of farms they are cultivating in terms of acreages and acres. So this data, if properly collected and synchronized, will help in proper targeting and then support government further in deepening the interventions in the various models of the planting for food and jobs in Ghana.
Chairman, let me put on record that he encouraged me to go into farming around the Gushegu area. He's a good man, and I wish him well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You mean you have a farm in the Gushegu area?
Chairman,
yes, Chairman, and he acquired the land for me, 50 acres, and he is helping me out with it. Thank you.
We'll talk to Ghana Revenue Authority about your income declaration record, so you see how much 50 acres brings in additional to. Let me go to Tampuri first. Need the mic for him, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Honorable nominee, Honorable Hadi Tuferi, was my classmate at sixth form, the Ghana Secondary School, and a neighbor as far as my constituency is concerned. Indeed, I have quite a number of my relations in his constituency, so every now and again, I find myself in his constituency to visit my uncle and my aunties and all of that. Mr. Chairman, I don't have much to say except to wish him very well. I wish him the very best in his endeavors, should this committee find him capable and suitable for the role of Deputy Minister. And I wish you well as a Member of Parliament for the good people of Nanton. When you succeed, my people succeed too. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
The Honorable Zuera first. I'll come to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I have only one question. Good afternoon and congratulations, my brother.
Thank you very much, Ajay.
Good. I have one question. In 2018, government spent a lot of money constructing warehouses. I don't know whether they were silos or warehouses, but something to that effect to cater for post-harvest produce. Most of them haven't been in use. Do you know why? And what would you say will be when we can expect for these warehouses to be operationalized in order to secure our food security issues? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Honestly speaking, I am not aware. I know a lot of such infrastructure have been done across several districts in Ghana. As to the reason, if really is the case, they are not being put to good use, I'm unable to tell. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Patricia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also have just one question, and it's actually in follow-up to Honorable Ejari's question on how to the youth create jobs for the youth. Honorable, you agree with me that our president or our current government has a program that is the youth in agriculture. There is a school of thought that educating them alone would not solve or create the necessary interest that you want, but rather we should ensure that we teach but inspire. What programs can you have in place, or can you advise or assist your minister to put in place so that the youth will actually be inspired, not only be taught to do something? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. The problem of Ghana's agriculture is how to get the youth accept farming as a career. And it's all boiled down to the issue of image. The youth in Ghana perceive agriculture as old-fashioned, highly unprofitable, and not deserving of a career of a sort as far as their level is concerned or taste. So the strategy should be to do community sensitization on the opportunities that are available in agriculture across the entire value chain. There are opportunities. You can be trained to become an agri-engineer. You can take up a career in agriculture as a processor, equipment and inputs, implement manufacturer and supplier. So there are a lot of opportunities. It is up, and the advantages of agriculture, if we do not take it up seriously, all of us are at risk. So it is for us to drum home the importance of agriculture so that we instill that spirit in the youth so that they can accept agriculture as career and then take it up.
Mr. Chairman, as a follow-up, I want to tease your mind on this issue of creating something like team leaders. You just identify a group, a very small group, to embark on this project, and then you use them as an, because I'm talking about inspiration. That's, would you agree with me that such a program will help?
Chairman, respectfully, this is a very good suggestion, and it will do the trick for us. So I associate myself with the comment or suggestion made by the honorable member. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Honorable nominee, the honorable nominee was my 1 year senior in Ganasco. We're fortunate to have met the last batch of sixth formers. And at the time, Honorable Tampuli and co also handed over to us at the Drama and Debating Club. Maybe on a lighter note, what sort of, we often hear of the relationship between junior students and senior students and bullying on campus and all that. What sort of senior were you?
Thank you very much, Chairman. I was a house prefect, and as a house prefect, I was supposed to provide leadership to the youth. And Tampuli will agree with me, as well as Suhine, that I was a very disciplined student, and I was a role model, very supportive, and I used to do more extra classes for the juniors. So this bullying is not my way of life.
What they call bullying was your way of leadership. The young men call bullying, is that right?
No, Chairman. It was discipline. Discipline.
Yeah, he was a very popular house prophet in Ganasco in those days. I'll just leave it at that. Was it Pesa? No, I think it was Cabral House. Yes, it was Cabral House. Honorable nominee, the planting for food and jobs. You come from a rural community. Majority of the people, if I'm not mistaken, are people who are into agriculture in various forms. How many people in your constituency have benefited from it, and in what form have they benefited?
Thank you very much, Chairman. As far as I am concerned, every farmer, like he rightly put it, up to 90% of the people in my constituency are farmers. So they find this flagship program of government as very useful, and is helping them to increase their acreages and production and etc. So in terms of the subsidized fertilizers and the subsidized seeds, all of them are getting the benefit, including my good self, because I'm a farmer myself. So to the extent that fertilizers are available and affordable, every farmer reasonably can afford to buy one or two for his farm.
Honorable nominee, when the substantive minister appeared before this committee, I put this question to him. He did not at the time have the answer. I don't know if you have, through your briefing from the ministry, have a better answer or explanation, or perhaps hope to give as far as the future of the planting for food and jobs is concerned. Apart from the Canadian facility, which is being used to promote the planting for food and jobs, which was secured somewhere in 2016 under the previous government, beyond the usual budgetary increases that are allocated to ministries, what has the government done to ensure that when this Canadian facility is exhausted, the so-called planting for food and jobs does not come to an end? Because this was a project that was initiated and the funding source secured from the government of Canada which this government inherited, and yes, have used it under the Planting for Food and Jobs. But beyond the usual yearly increments when it comes to allocations to ministries that the Ministry of Agriculture has also enjoyed, what other source of funding is available for this program to continue?
Thank you very much. Chairman, I've gone through the minister's response when he appeared before this committee. And on this specific question, the minister didn't say that that facility the other member is talking about actually came, and that's the only means of supporting the Planting for Food and Jobs. He said that the money given was meant for vehicles and other administrative support to the ministry, and that the support so far is from government and over or close to 1 million Ghana cedi each year. In particular, last year and this year has been expended on the project. So I'm not too sure. Maybe I didn't. But specifically, he said that that tranche was for vehicle procurement, for administrative, for essential officers, and etc. So I am not too sure if I'm speaking on different subjects. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, you are partly right. The minister indicated that the whole program was supported by government, but that was not correct. And in fact, if you check other fact checkers after that vetting, it came out that the minister was not entirely right. But he suggested that government was doing a lot. I just wanted to know if there's any other source of funds beyond the budgetary allocations that will sustain the program. But let's move on to maybe my last question. Public Accounts Committee. You served on that committee in the last parliament. You have gone through the reports of various governments, at least two governments, from 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. I think you have gone through the 2018 report as well. What is your notion of corruption, having served on this appointments committee, and how best can we as politicians contribute to the fight better than we currently do?
Thank you very much. Chairman, the biggest challenge in public financial management system is the way systems are structured and implemented at the local and institutional level. So the way to solve corruption challenge in Ghana is change of our attitude. So we have to change our attitude and know that everybody should know that corruption doesn't help. We are all supposed to be productive in wherever you find yourself, to have to earn for service done or job done. So to one easy way is
I want more specifics. When you say change our attitude, what do you mean? Is it our dishonest attitude? Put the emphasis on why.
Yeah, our dishonest attitude, Chairman. Thank you.
Chairman has coached you well. That's all right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll leave it here.
Yes, Gisela.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Honorable Nominee.
Good afternoon, Chairman.
My first question relates to the retailing of agric produce and where they end up, which is the marketplaces. Would you agree that there should be a better collaboration between the Ministry of Agric and maybe local governments, such that when a farmer has finished his produce, he's harvested, he sends it to the market, who takes care of the food safety of the produce that the final consumer will be buying from the market? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chairman, that's one of the issues of market challenges we have in agriculture. You know, Ministry of Agric alone cannot tackle all the problems of agriculture. It requires multi-sectoral or ministerial approach, including local government and lands and natural resources and etc. So market structures are not very good, and most of the losses we get after production comes on the back of this challenge. So I agree entirely with you that local government has a critical role to play in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. My next question relates to Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Directorate under the ministry. What's the human capacity? Do you have human capacity challenges in that sector? And with the world going green, with sustainability issues, SDGs, and all that architecture around the whole, lots of economies nowadays, do you think that we are making enough efforts under this area to make sure that we also go green, both in our planting, because I know there's a lot of chemicals that are used. What's your take on it, and what do you personally hope to push in this regard? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I have not had the opportunity to, the brief I have from the ministry, I can't speak to the issue of staff strength at the directorate. But what I can see is that they are doing their best under whatever circumstances that they find themselves in terms of monitoring and surveillance. The fall armworm came as a surprise, very new, and it really affected us because of maybe poor monitoring and surveillance system. So if I get to the ministry, I will find out more about the directorate and whatever support I can lend to the minister to step up activities to improve our situation as far as disease and pest monitoring and control is concerned, I'll do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My last question relates still to this, but there's excessive use of chemicals in farming. What can we do to educate, or what can we do to conscientize people on the effects of it? Because combining that with maybe a bit of, I will not say illiteracy, but obviously if I have this bottle of chemical and the way I, yes, relating to poor farming practices and so on and so forth, what can we do to change that narrative? Because eventually we will all consume the product that comes from it, be it tomatoes, be it whatever it is that is being fertilized. What can we do to ensure that we have a bit more, a bigger safety net? Because I'm sure that Standards Board, when they test some of the, the crop, vegetables and so on and so forth, the levels of chemicals that in it, if they really to let us know what is really happening, I'm not sure Ghanaians will be eating some of the fruits and vegetables that are sold on the market. What can we do to tackle this issue once and for all? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. This area is a bit technical, and I want to say that I will go back, if I'm given the nod, consult and get to know more about the effects of the use of chemicals on our farm produce, so that we can all come up with better suggestions to help save lives and sustain the system. Thank you.
All right, our leadership.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, our colleague, can you look at your CV? I think that's page 2, eh?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm there.
Nurul Islam, Arabic and English Primary School, Tamale. And you said qualification there was Arabic and preschool education. And you spent 10 years doing that.
Thank you, Chairman. The school in reference here, Nur Islam, happens to be my home. And you know, from a Muslim background, my father was a scholar, and you are born into Islamic education and up to when you can move out if necessary to do formal school education, secular education. So it's possible, Chairman.
So you spent 10 years in preschool and then went to Methodist primary school from 1986 to 1990 for your primary education.
Chairman, thank you very much. In fact, the preschool education shouldn't be part of it. So it is for Arabic education, please. So I'll take note of it and correct it as such.
So that means technically you started primary school in 1986. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, please.
And then you moved to SDA Junior High from 1990 to 92.
Yes, yes.
And that's where you wrote your BC.
Chairman, that's another error on my CV. Actually, I didn't do the BC. After my 2 years, when I was supposed to enter the third year, I jumped to secondary school in Ganasco. So I didn't actually write. So I did third year instead of junior high school. I did it rather in Ganasco.
So Tempoli, you see why you could jump into Ganasco. It's only Tamasco, it's only Ganasco you could jump into. So is it that you didn't write common entrance, you just jump into Ganasco?
Oh, that's what I mean. Because I didn't complete the 3 years course in the SD. So
so how did you get into Ganasco?
Through the common entrance exams.
Because you've not stated that.
Oh.
That's the error that I wanted to draw attention to. Now, earlier also on the same CV, you see that 2007 to 2016, head of internal audit department is a Tamale Technical University. In 2007, was it Tamale Technical University?
No, actually it was Tamale Polytechnic.
So you see the same thing in 2001, 2006, lecturer, accounting, taxation, management, and what have you. Tamale Technical University.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I will do the necessary correction.
Now, when you were answering an earlier question, you talked about agribusiness. Did you study agribusiness? Because you said your background in accounting and management. Then you mentioned agribusiness. Did you really study agribusiness?
I've even practiced in agribusiness because I'm a farmer myself. And then when you apply the commercialization aspect to agriculture activities, then that's where agribusiness comes in.
So what do you see as one of the, or some of the major challenges in the agribusiness?
Actually, the biggest challenge is skills, and then leadership. And then what do you call it? Cost, because they are smallholder farmers who are mostly into agriculture in Ghana, cost of produce is high, making it highly uncompetitive. So the biggest challenge is the cost of doing business in Ghana.
You said that you were a farmer yourself. What are you cropping?
I do maize and rice. And occasionally, depending upon the weather condition, I do small soybeans.
So do you have ready market for this produce?
Very, very well, Chairman.
So you have ready market for all your maize and all your soya beans and...
Very, very, very much, especially this time around.
No, I'm talking about, for how long have you been in the farming?
For the past 15, 16 years.
And each year when you cultivate, you have ready market for your produce?
I have never carried forward my farm produce to the ensuing year.
So, I mean, are you a smallholder farmer or your farm is big?
Yeah, I'm a smallholder farmer.
How many acres?
40, 45.
And when you produce maize annually, averagely you get about how many bags?
I get average yield of 6 to 7 bags on an acre.
So from this annually, you are getting about 300 bags of maize.
I think I will need a calculator to confirm this.
I overheard Honorable Sweeney saying that you donate them into orderings and funerals. Do you really sell them?
I sell some to go back to farm, and I donate a lot.
Who do you normally sell this produce to?
What do you call it, aggregators, so, market women and then traders.
The reason why you see me hovering around this, I'm also a farmer. And one of the major challenges in agribusiness in our country today is ready market.
For which? Okay.
I mean, apart from cocoa, where you have a guaranteed price and you are only selling to LBCs that you can give and be sure that this is the price, and you, even if they don't have it immediately, you know you are going to take. Almost all the other produce, it's a major challenge. When you cultivate high, if you are not careful, that year there's a bumper harvest. The price is so low that if you try to sell, you run at a loss. You don't have a good storage. You are forced to either sell at that loss price, or because maybe you are doing it
on small scale.
You call 40, 50 acres small scale.
I said 40, 45. And it's small scale because the 40 acres is not at one location, and I don't use it for a single crop.
And then you remember you also said in your answer earlier that depending on the weather condition.
I do occasionally soya beans.
So the other challenge is our rain-fed agriculture.
Yeah.
We are not able to use irrigation facility. Yeah. Some of us have developed irrigation facility within our farms.
Wow.
But the challenge is you produce and then you won't get anybody to sign a contract with you to collect them. So the price, you cannot determine the price. Anything can happen to it. It is the reason why the young people don't want to go in. Not because they are lazy. Because they don't want to go into it just to sweat. They want to make money. So having been practicing it, what do you think we can do to be able to make it a good business that will enable the youth to find it attractive?
Thank you very much. Chairman, when you look at the nature of the youth unemployment problem in Ghana, it looks like it's no longer an option. We all have to put our hands on deck to support any government, any day, to find a way by which we can attract the youth to accept it. And then expand the economy, add value to our produce. If you are doing rice and there's no ready market for the paddy, we can find a way by which you can add value, process it into foreign rice, as we call it. So maybe we can help step up demand, and we can make the sector profitable and attractive to the youth.
So let me since you didn't give me a very clear answer. In the north, you know, there's millets, there's maize, and one of the delicacies are TZs, cocoa, and what have you. What do you think we can do to process the maize and the millet into semi-finish so that it can enhance this traditional diet, but it will have put in value onto that very crop that they cultivate?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, the real challenge is for us to continue to invest in science and research and technology to make cost of farming very low. If you do that, maize and millet and soya beans can provide ready market for poultry, for the poultry industry. So there's a huge market there. So locally, I'm unable to figure out because we have all grown now to seeing teasers being produced from maize and porridge, as you rightly put it. But I still feel that we can do better
if we invest heavily in technology to reduce cost of doing farming in Ghana, so that even though prices may be low, if compared to relative to cost, if cost is down, if the poultry industry can come in, provide the ready market for us to sell and then make profit.
I just want to find out from him whether he has heard of neat fufu.
Yes, yes.
What is it?
It is dry yam being converted into flour, and packed neatly and nicely for local consumption and
is
even
it
for
yam
export.
or plantain?
Yam and cassava and plantain.
And have you ever tasted one?
Yes, please. Yes, Chairman.
Have you tried stirring one to make your own fufu?
I have a wife, and you know my tradition. I can't do that.
So, Honorable Peru, that is where I'm trying to draw your attention to, because the way the neat fufu, tried to semi-finish the plantain into neatly packaged flour that you simply put in hot water and then stir, and then you have the plantain fufu or yam fufu or cassava fufu. I see this a lot in New York, but it is done by the Guinea, where you just go and buy the flour, you just stir it and you have your cocoa, and they have them in different spices and other things, so you choose the one that you want. They are doing the same thing with fura. You know, this one other food that we like, the fura, they do it semi. And because of the way it is packaged, you are not in a hurry to sell, because you move it into a semi-finished product that can stay in the shelves for a little longer than if you were to keep the maize or the millet or the yam. This is what I think that going to that ministry and coming from the north, you may try to put some energy and effort to assist the minister to get done, so that we do not have most of our young people running into the south, even though myself I'm a beneficiary of my grandfather moving from the north to the south because of search for greener pastures. I think this is one of the things that we can do.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I will be guided.
But my worry is, you are going to the Ministry of Food, and you've been farming for the past 15 years, as you said, right?
Yes, Chairman.
Do you get seed, whether maize or the other thing, soya beans,
yes,
from the Ministry of Agriculture, or you normally buy your own seeds?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, just 2 days ago, I bought 3 bags of the 25 kg of the soya beans for my farm this year.
But not the subsidized one from the Ministry of Agriculture?
The subsidized one from the Ministry of Agriculture.
So this is my worry. We are going there as a deputy minister, and this is a policy of that ministry. How are you going to work hard to take yourself away from possible conflict of interest situation?
Chairman, thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, I will be guided by the Constitution. I have been working all through, and I know the issues, moral issues regarding these matters. So conflict of interest and other matters, I will be guided.
I don't want to find out, did you declare your assets the last time?
Yes, Chairman.
And did you take did you apply for members holding profits certificates from the Speaker?
No, I have not done that yet.
But you were a member of Parliament in the 7th Parliament?
Yes, yes, Chairman.
And you were doing farming?
Hello?
Yes, you were having farms?
Yes. And
that was Office of Profits, and you didn't apply to Speaker for permission to continue?
Actually, Chairman, like I earlier on mentioned, the type of farming we are doing is basically to keep the family and to be able to support. So I don't actually make profit on my farm. The Chairman, I wish the nominee well. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Chairman, thank you very much. I join you in congratulating the Honorable Mohammed Hadi Tuferu on his nomination to the office of Deputy Minister, Food and Agriculture. And Chairman, just my preliminary observation, if it's been taken care of, let me be reminded by our colleagues. Now, your Tuferu, you are an academic. Your Tuferu, there's an I after the FE. In the President's letter, it says Tuferu without an I. Which one should we go with?
Thank you, Chairman. Is the Tuferu with the I?
So yours, okay, Chairman, so record to reflect same. Still, you are an academic. The third paragraph of your CV, my objective is to leverage. Is there something lost there? The third line.
On the first bullet.
My objective is to leverage.
My fundamental objectives of holding public office as an MP, no. Second sentence. My objective is to leverage my extensive management.
Okay. You don't see anything lost there?
No, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Now come to page 2 of your CV, Chairman. Parliament. You don't give us whether January 7th, and when you say to date, check it.
Yeah, Chairman, I have seen it. I will do the necessary correction.
And then, Chairman, still because you are an academic, I'll hold on to it. You just say member of parliament, then you say various committees. Are you on the privileges committee? Are you on government assurance? Are you on communication?
Now,
when you say various, what are you communicating?
Thank you, Chairman. I will do the necessary correction.
And Chairman, that leads me to page 3. You are very comfortable with 2021 to date. 2021 to date. Do you see anything wrong with it? And you want to indulge Chairman to rectify same?
Yeah, I want to. Thank you very much. I'll do the necessary corrections.
For your record, thank you, Chairman. How much is a bag of maize selling in Tamale in the Ababu or Kakwaranol market today? You know, or in the Nanton market, a bag of maize?
Thank you, Chairman. A bag of maize, as I bought it the last time, was 200 Ghana cedis.
A bag of rice?
Rice, the paddy. Actually, I have not bought a bag of rice.
How much was it selling in 2016? You remember that?
No, Chairman.
Will you say that today is more expensive than it was in 2016 or it's cheaper? Thank you, Chairman.
Certainly today the price is a bit higher compared to 2016.
Thank you very much for your sincerity. You know how much a tractor sells? If a farmer in Jiang or Nantong or Zhuao wants to buy a tractor, how much should the farmer expect to have to own a tractor?
Thank you very much, Chairman. The last time I checked was 150,000 for the, depending upon the model.
Do you see any farmer from Zhuao or Jiang owning a tractor with this price?
I have seen more of the home-used tractors, but few of the new ones.
The Honorable Nominee, I know you are a farmer, and I know you are passionate about farming. I'm just drawing your attention that, not you, but my strong view is that government is not doing enough when we talk about mechanized farming and modernized farming. If a rural farmer in Savulgo or Diare or in Jiang, I chose your villages, Zhuao, cannot afford a tractor, then what is it that is being said every day? We are modernizing agriculture, we've mechanized agriculture. Tomorrow you'll be assisting your minister to change policy. I know under the NDC there used to be a formula of 60-40 or probably 80-20 in terms of the state bearing some responsibility. Share your own view. If you want to reach out to farmers in your area, what model do you think will work so that we increase access to ownership of tractors?
Thank you very much. Chairman, the current system is still the 60-40. Government subsidizing it by that range. But there's a shift because the cost is very high and the farmers are not able to afford. The shift is now towards the handheld equipments and then tools. That is where, so for example, if the farmer cannot afford the combined harvester, there are substitutes, the prices of which I know are affordable, and there are a good number of them. So those are very helpful, and then research, development, and innovation is critical in resourcing those who can support the sector locally to manufacture those simple tools that can be used.
Chairman, I'm simply finding out from the nominee that not just this administration, governments are not doing enough to support farmers when it comes to having access to mechanized agricultural facilities. Is that correct?
I know this. I agree, yes.
You know the number of combined harvesters in northern region? Do you have an idea?
I don't have an idea.
What about in Nanton district?
I don't have an idea.
Sahani and Pukpalgo have no access to water in your constituency. Nyekwe and Zao, Bartonley and Tenkurugo, what promises do you have to improve the livelihoods of the people there as you remain MP? They do not have access to water. And I'm sure you are aware that for electricity, Pukpalga and Sahani have no access to rural electrification. I saw you campaigning and making promise. No vote man and a zang man. Give us, Chairman, I'll bring the electricity. I'm quoting him in Dagbani. When can they expect that they'll get connected?
Chairman, thank you very much. Majority leader knows very well that I know where he's coming from. He tells me that my constituency is in his hands. He has gotten a lot of information from the constituency about, because this particular community, Sahani and Kukpalgo, to be very honest with you, my prayer, I have done my best and I'll continue to do my best to provide them the lights before I can even get briefing space. So with your guidance and support, leader, as you have always done it, we continue to rely on the leadership and the entire...
Chairman will support the nominee, because I'm sure my colleague, the Honorable Suhine and Co might have raised it. I mean, if you take northern region, and that's not acceptable, as I said, not just the Nana Akufo-Addo government, you saw that for the most part, northern region, you didn't have districts connected by road. Savulugu just because it's on the road to Bolga. Now, I drove on the Kumbungu Road yesterday in very deplorable state. From Savulugu, when you turn from the World Vision, heading towards Zo in deplorable state, you have yours in Zo linking up. And anybody who drives to where the Honorable Anta traces his patrilineal ship, Jiang, sorry state, every other time you see contractors on the road, unending, uncompleted. What do you have to say to that, Chairman?
Thank you very much, Chairman. I know these issues of the problem state of rules is not new. The ministry is aware and they are doing their best. I can only, we will continue to go and then talk to them, encourage them, and then explain our situation to them. And I pray that very soon we can get support.
Chairman, this question, you may accommodate it or ask the nominee to choose to answer it or not. Measuring temperament becomes part of our scrutiny obligation. Your minister is the president's friend. You are the president's son. How will you cope?
The minister is what? Chairman.
Since you didn't know, that's fine. Chairman, now on policy, just a few policy questions. Now, rice production. You know rice mills. You know oil mills. I see Rashid frightening me with his black spectacle at the back with Chairman. Those days, 10, 20 years ago, rice mills respected. Oil mills respected all around the industrial area of Tamale. You will be Deputy Minister for Agriculture. Even share not, just processing it. Those are our comparative advantage as a people. That is what our women can do. That is what our farmers can do. What will you do to assist your minister to improve the production of those? Thank you, Chair.
Production of rice. Thank you very much, Chairman. In the area of rice production, government, through the minister, is already has started doing something, developing valleys and lowlands, trying to get F dams to support, to harvest water, to support all year-round farming in agriculture for rice. For the share, my immediate response is the protection of the existing trees. Bush burning is causing a lot of havoc to the trees, as well as bad weather. So in the short term, what we need to do is to do community sensitization, talk to the people. A lot don't know the potential of the share. So that's the first attack if there's beef today, and another attack for firewood if there's death. They don't really know because of the oil content, it catches fire very fast. So it is attacked, even though it is going in the war on its own. So if you can sensitize the people, share them the value, for example, the export value of the share, as I got from my brief, is over 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. Yet we do not earn much. So the people don't know that this is what...
Honorable Tampulu will tell you 1.2 billion, you haven't said anything.
Billion dollars.
So say so, you said cedis.
So they don't know the value. So we...
Okay, now come to sugar. Ghana is spending a lot of money on the importation of sugar and even rice. I recall as Minister for Trade banning rice importation into the country and declaring particular designated sites for the import of rice and textiles in order to control it. You share a boundary with Savulugu, and therefore you share a boundary even extending towards Wale Wale. The Depale sugar connecting to Nauni, to Daboya in the Gonja Savannah area. There is water, there is land, there is sunshine. I understand that if we invest 300 to 500 million US dollars on a sugar estate, you can even, learning from the Omnikin example of Mauritius, that I know that President Mahama have been there, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Vice President, President and Vice President have been there. What would be your advice to your minister to give meaning to that?
Thank you very much, Chairman. I know the initiative for the One District, One Factory, that is the project the former MP together with the Assembly have sent proposal to the Secretariat to consider, because it's a very good area with all the necessary conditions for sugarcane plantain production to thrive. So I know the minister, good suggestions and proposals, he can lend his support for such a wonderful project. Thank you, Chairman.
Chairman, I've just been reminded by text Chayile, Sakpale, to Buanayile, Sahane. They are reminding you that they also have very poor roads. Now that you be deputy minister, maybe you extend. Chairman will not support you. Can you extend cocoa roads there? In the name of Shianat or something. So take note of that.
Thank you very much.
Now, Chairman, I'm ending with a controversial question. You know the Dagbang State? You know the Dagbang State?
Yes, Chairman.
Your academic, you must have read about, I think, Christine Opong growing up in Dagbang. who is the number one in terms of authority exercising traditional and cultural control and authority over the Dagbang state?
It is the Yana. Thank you, Chairman.
Between him and the Nanton now, whose mandate and authority will you respect?
I beg you, leave him out of chieftain.
Both, Chairman.
I beg you, please. Remember, I encourage you to stay out
Thank
of
you very much.
Sensitive matters like chieftaincy.
Chairman, let him say so. Anyway. Okay, Chairman. No. I'm fine, Chairman. So, when our farmers cannot get, have you been to the Ababu market or Kakwaranal market?
I've been to the Ababu market, Chairman.
Name any agricultural commodity you like to promote as Deputy Minister for Agriculture for the good and development of the North.
Chairman, because of the soya beans and then I want to promote soya beans and rice.
The people of Nantong are craving for a free senior high school. Is it part of the promises, new ones you are likely to make as you appear before this committee?
Chairman, thank you very much. These are matters that we have to work with the Minister of Education and make a strong case for one, because that's the only district in Dagbang with that secondary school.
I'll support you in that, Chairman. I say this because there is what is established in South Africa of a joking relationship between Nantong, Savulugu, Kumbungu. They share who is more rural and who is not more rural. So, Chairman, on that rural note, I thank you for the opportunity and I wish to congratulate our colleague.
Very well. Just take note so that we correct the petty errors in your CV for the record.
Thank you, Chairman.
On that note, we thank you for attending upon the committee to answer questions. You are discharged.
Thank you very much, Chairman.